Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves one that has been a long time coming. If you pay close attention to the bot scene, we have got Pigbot, programmed by Drekken, a Protoss bot with some pretty advanced functionalities. And it will be taking on the perhaps long time coming what. We have had really, we have had why, and now we have what. And yes, as you guys can tell, this is going to be a bit of a cheesier bot programmed by Rasper, one of the best bot authors out there. And it is a gimmicky Zerg cheese bot, which is, interestingly enough, but not maybe unsurprisingly, the last bot that he programmed to sort of showcase more rush-focused strategies, as I honestly think Zerg does have a bit of a harder time with cheese. Their arsenal is less, and yes, we'll just see what... there we go, I've said it. I've said what brings today. Well, we already know from the chat tag, it's going to be a one-base muta Zerg bot. So ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead, click that like button if you haven't already. If we can get, I don't know, 4 likes for all the letters in what, that would be amazing. You guys always blow it out of the water with your support, despite us being a smaller channel. Leave a comment down below saying more bots. I don't know, say what, say why, say really. And then subscribe if you haven't already, as this is the only StarCraft 2 channel that has daily bot videos. And yeah, I try to provide as much information, but if you want more, you can also go to AIarena.net, the home of all these bots, and we'll just see how Pigbot is going to respond to this cheese, or whether it will even respond at all. As this is an incredibly inefficient Zerg build. Zerg is just not designed to really one base. However, what is going to be going for a very quick muta build. We'll see whether the Protoss can weather this storm or not. There will, of course, be a couple gateways done. There's a battery, so we could always get some stalkers as an immediate response. This is just a good example, though, of how bot authors might, well, definitely do oversimplify cheese responses. We have Pigbot saying it thinks it's up against a rush of speedlings with 88% confidence. And that is honestly what you'd assume upon seeing a build like this. Well, maybe not upon seeing the lair, but upon seeing the early pool. That's a very easy check to program in as a bot author. You say early pool, I'm probably being rushed, and we do have a nice response from Pigbot, I must say. If it thinks this is a speedling rush, it's got quite a few zealots out, it's getting out stalkers, and it's delayed the nexus, which is a very important part of holding cheese. I do like that it has continuously produced probes and is long distance mining with them. Big bonus points for that one. And yes, we'll just see whether Pigbot will have what it takes to defend against these mutas. 5 mutas isn't a lot. However, when you've only got 2 stalkers, it feels like a lot. Looks like Pigbot is actually going out for a counterattack in this match. That could definitely be powerful if it keeps the mutas at home, if it provides vision of them early on, or just straight up gets some damage done. There is lots of opportunity for Pigbot. As I say that, though, the Protoss does elect to move home, and we are having triple stalker production. I don't believe the mutas were seen, so Pigbot is just naturally producing this nice tech. There is notably no warp gate for the Protoss, so it's just producing these units the old-fashioned way, but it will have 5 stalkers out to respond to these mutas, and we'll see how well what is going to micro them. A bot can, in theory, just have perfect micro. 5 mutas apparently is the magic number to one-shot a probe. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what the author said is the limit to move out and attack. The stalkers of Pigbot are responding to these mutas, though, and will drive them away for now. Their regen is quite quick, however it does feel slow when we're used to seeing burrowed roaches all the time. What, just pulling them back to regenerate them? Of course, the fact that this bot is programmed by the author of Eris, we can see that the pathing is quite advanced, and Yeah, Pigbot for now just producing stalkers. It does run the probes from the mutas. They'd probably just be better off staying safe in that mineral line. Again, that's not an easy thing to program though, and some reaction is probably the better choice. The stalkers of Pigbot are doing quite a nice job though, staying on top of the mutas. We don't have a Stargate necessarily, and we do have more zealots being produced, but I mean, it's already built up a decent count of stalkers. Behind this, What is just going to be pumping more and more mutas, so we likely will need to see a Stargate play from the Protoss. Mutas can be dealt with by stalkers, like maybe between the 10 and 20 mark. When there's over 20, it's like, okay, you almost do need Phoenix if you're going to try and macro. There's of course options for Protoss. They can base race, and we do actually have Pigbot getting aggressive right now, denying mining at the natural. The mutas are probably programmed to preserve themselves above all else. Although as I say that, it looks like their little home location is on top of this hatchery in the natural, so their retreat spot is actually leaving them incredibly vulnerable. They are eating many, many shots. Pigbot not necessarily targeting them down as it's busy running at stalkers from drones and dealing with another muta on the ramp. These mutas are really softened up. The targeting is not great, as it's almost like intentional targeting to get them all low without killing them. A stalker is actually getting some shots off, and so the mutas are dying, and What is in a lot of trouble right now. It's pumping out, well, it's producing more mutas. It's not pumping. It is making a muta, and yeah, we do see that What not having these mutas try and escape danger while they are parked on top of a hatchery. Again, well, I should say that What is a bot that was probably thrown together by quite quickly with someone with a lot of knowledge. However, there will be corners cut, and this is simple muta logic that probably works in a lot of cases, but when there's a stalker spawn camping the mutas, it doesn't work so good. And so What seems like it may just be crumbling, and yeah, well done by Pigbot. Just honestly very impressed by Pigbot. Its response was quite nice. It's building up lots of zealots, not bringing the zealots to attack, but yeah, it's macroing behind this, so maybe we'll have to cast some more Pigbot games. I will be jumping into another match after this one if What just dies, although as I look, we do get the mutas killing off the stalkers, so enough mutas do get pooled up. This means mining will resume at the natural. And okay, maybe I have written What off a little bit too soon. The stalkers are dealt with. The Protoss doesn't actually have any anti-air right now, so things were going very nice for Pigbot, but it's actually floating a gross amount of resources. Perhaps it's waiting for this third base to finish up. The single dot moving across the minimap is a lot of mutas combined in one. That's the power of a bot, keeping these nice and grouped up as they move. Now, the Protoss is going to need to get some more anti-air, but yeah, it might have left that a little too long. We get zealots warping on in when there is a mass mutalisk presence, and the zealots are trying to respond to the mutas. God bless them, but they are not. They're not exactly equipped to it, unless they threw their knives, which I don't know if they can detach them or not. that would be peak comedy. Anyway, Pigbot is getting up a Templar Archives. It's getting up a Robo Bay. Unless we see a counterattack or something, though, I think these mutas are going to run away with this. And okay, I was like, oh, the Zerg's probably dead. Nope, turns out the Protoss is dead. I wasn't really looking at what's going on back at home. And while Pigbot has been macroing well, its composition does leave some room to be desired. This really is the beauty of What, though. The fact that it goes for Mutalisk as one of its cheesy builds is really nice, and it's probably going to make the ladder develop a little bit, because mutas are definitely an underexplored feature of bots. They're just not that good, to be honest. They take a long time to tech to. Now, looks like Pigbot, pardon me, is getting out an Archon as some anti-air. That might be able to hold the lines. Too High Templar could be in trouble. The Archon just gets popped off, so good Mutalisk engagement. And it's not going to be enough from poor Pigbot. Yeah, I think this bot will definitely encourage the ladder to develop a bit more. As, like, yeah, we do not get a lot of mutabots, guys. There's definitely been a few, but they've just been historically weak. And the build from What isn't super strong. It's a good execution, But I am curious what other Zerg cheeses the author has come up with. And yeah, we're actually going to explore that in some of the next games. So I think we'll fast forward at this point, as the game kind of flipped on us a little bit. Pigbot definitely was in a good position. Unfortunately, unit compositions are definitely a hard thing. The Zerg, of course, is going to be scary in the sense that it is programmed by the author of Eris, so it can potentially always just flick a switch and go Eris mode. It's actually building infestors in an Ultralisk cavern right now, which is not something we get too often. And I believe an Ultra build is actually a strategy of what. So we're actually going to get some Ultralisks from a bot. 7 at a or pardon me, was that 7? Yeah, it was building 7 at a time. Pigbot dying. I like how the tag is dinosaurs, which I think is definitely an accurate description. If you found Ultralisk bones or fossils or whatever, you'd be like, yeah, that's a dinosaur. You'd have no idea it was an alien. In fact, maybe the dinosaurs are aliens. Have you ever thought of that? As the YouTube channel turns a new leaf to conspiracy theories. Lots of queens joining up with the Ultralisks, infestors too. I do wonder if we'd get that microbial shroud or not. There it is, GG. Okay, here we are into our next match of this cheesy bot. I'll just go ahead and say it one more time. I'll probably skip the intro, as seems to work well in these, or the outro, as seems to work well in these multi-part videos, because we got a bit of time to kill at the start of this one. Click that like button if you guys haven't already. Comment, subscribe, and just big thanks to everyone who is a YouTube member. It goes a long way to helping with the daily casts. And there's various perks you can get down below. So shout out to you guys. Now, I'm curious what strategy it is. That's why. No, this is what. What strategy what we'll be going for. It does say one base muta again, so we'll see how well Mecha Shark, the Terran bot, is going to respond to this. A bot with good fundamentals. However, I think in the previous match, it did go for strict ground units. So this will be a good test potentially for the Terran bot if it goes for like a one base Marauder Hellbat timing, something like that. To see if it does transition and start adding in those air units. So the whole project of these kind of cheesier bots, is really just awesome for the scene. You guys can even download these bots and test your bot against them. I'm not sure if Crawler could kill what. I imagine it would probably just kill all the lings with drones somehow in Phenomenal Micro, as has happened in the past, but maybe not. This is an incredibly greedy build from the Zerg. This is something that doesn't work very well on the ladder in human matches, because humans just go, oh, mutas, and it's womp womp, basically. Yeah, in games like this, in bot matches, you can definitely get away with it. I am curious, like, how what would respond to something like a Zergling rush. It might just die, to be honest. However, it's not being scouted in this match. It's going to be able to throw that Spire up at a whopping 2 minutes and 6 seconds Spire. That is ridiculous. Meanwhile, Mecha Shark is just going for a reactor on the factory, and it is building Marauders. I think we may just have a bop here, as what unleashes its terror on the ladder. I do like that it goes for the Spine Crawler, only when it is able to, it goes for the Spine Crawler only when it has the excess resources, not too early, anything like that. This build is strictly about the fastest mutas possible, it seems. And then we do have a queen on the way, so it will be able to get an inject off, have enough larvae to build like the 5 mutas once the Spire finishes up in 30 seconds. And yeah, Mecha Shark is going for a one base build. That is not very good against these mutas. So we very well could just be having like a nice clean victory from what, as it proceeds to go on a tear with its mutas. If we'll put it this way, I'll do another match. If what wins this one, I'll load up another game in this video. However, yeah, just very cool. 5 mutas building at 3 minutes 20 seconds in the game. That is ridiculous. Brought to you by speed mining, I suppose, a little bit. Although speed mining might not actually affect this timing. I guess, yeah, it does technically a little bit, because I guess technically you can get up an earlier pool, and therefore an earlier lair, just slightly. Now, the mutas are on the way, grouping up. What has a mineral bank, so it's going to build a hatchery. And, yeah, Mecha Shark has got literally no anti-air, so it's probably just going to die here. I'm not even going to try and hype this one up. It's like, oh, turns out a one-basing bot that doesn't scout against another one-basing bot that doesn't scout. Someone's gonna be surprised. We have Mecha Shark saying ladder is tough this season. Seems like I get cheesers every game. Yeah, that's definitely true. As what flies on in with these mutas, Mecha Shark transforms that Hellion into a Hellbat, pulls some SCVs, I'm not sure what purpose, and yeah, no anti-air. So unless there's a big old counterattack, which there is not, I think we've probably just got a bop here. I didn't pre-screen these replays or anything like that. I just wanted to get an organic look of LaughNgamez from what. And yeah, good build selection. As Mecha Shark dies, not attacking, never hitting that threshold it needed to go for an attack. So, a nice simple victory. What saying tag 620? Switch to prevent tie. Which, yeah, maybe. That's a bit bizarre. It says switch to prevent tie because it's got mutas. They can attack air and ground. So maybe that's just to resolve some stuck issues. Anyway, into another game. Okay, so here we are in another what match. And I'm gonna go the whole cast without trying to say that word. That would be casting on hard mode. Okay, we've got something a little bit different for this match, as the red Zergbot is going for a proxy hatchery. So a build that is one of the limited cheeses in Zerg's arsenal. It's like, well, I can try building my base on the enemy's side of the map. And what we'll be trying to cheese out, Queenbot in this game. So the drone is just parked here. Looks like it will be building the hatchery outside of the opponent's immediate vision. So there will be a big surprise with this strategy. I assume we'll get a spawning pool behind this. However, it could always be a spine crawler, spore crawler sort of shenanigans. No spawning pool starting just yet, though. Does mean that it will be a while before any such spine can be started. And looks like that there will be that spawning pool going up. A drone moves out. Is it to scout? Is it to run over there to immediately turn itself into a building? Because that's what all drones have an urge to do. They turn 18 and they suddenly get the urge to move out and become a building of their own. So looks like Queenbot has no idea that this is coming, but as it is Queenbot, it will be defending likely with just queens, drones, maybe spines. I don't actually know. But what has got itself a nice little mineral bank, 2 drones parked here for now. It looks like a third one is coming across, and so far Queenbot has got no idea what's going on. It's seen some drones in transit, which to a human you'd go, yeah, that totally makes sense. Whereas it's a very niche proxy situation, so it's very unlikely that Queenbot has any idea that this spine crawler aggression is coming. I'm not sure where this drone is going. However, Queenbot sees that there's no expansion and is just building queens. A drone moves out. Looks like it will identify that it is up against some proxy spines. A couple drones are pulled. A lot more drones are being pulled. Lings are being built, though, to defend this. We'll see if the drones can maybe get down at least one of the spine crawlers. Drones are taking damage and then being pulled off the line. That was not a mineral walk, so that one actually gets body blocked. One of the spines gets down in HP. However, they do finish up, so the drones are just going to want to run back out there. A queen is present. That can maybe deal with the Lings. However, what is not just using spines to try and win this game? It is going for all the dirty tricks. Zerglings to just push for the win, basically, with roaches coming out next. This is a very lethal build. And look at that, even the spine starting to move forward. The queen for Queenbot is in a world of trouble. The drones are in a world of trouble. And yeah, I think we've probably just got a quick and dirty victory from what? As Queenbot has got basically nothing. Its drone pull was kind of nice, however the few lings were able to kill off the drones, reduce their damage on the spines, and now we've got Ravagers pushing in against a bot that's got literally nothing. So that is it for this one. Yeah. Let me know if you guys want to see more what. Maybe someone was joking that we should do a tournament with just Rasper's bots, which I believe Queenbot is one of them. I should definitely know that for sure. I'm like 99% sure. Queenbot, programmed by Rasper, yes. So someone was joking in the Discord that we should do a tournament with just Rasper's bots, which would actually be interesting, as he really has programmed a lot of bots. What, why, really? Phobos, Deimos, Eris, Changeling, Queenbot. That's 8, so we could have an 8-bot match, I suppose. So that would be fun. Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. There's definitely more cheesy builds from What to explore. Based off its profile, it's got a 1-base Muta, Proxy Hatch, Ling Drone Rush, Ravager Rush, Ultras, Bro Rush, which I assume is Burrowed Roach, or just a bunch of bros coming over to hang out. Drone Rush Variation. Yeah, really cool. I'll see you next time.